Hey guys, tonight we unravel a family betrayal so twisted, you'll start side-eyeing even the most innocent birthday invitations. Imagine this: the smell of barbecue ribs wafting through your childhood backyard, candles glowing on a custom-tiered cake, cousins laughing on the patio, and you? You're not invited. Not accidentally, not due to a scheduling mistake. You're explicitly, gleefully uninvited. It's your dad's 60th birthday, and your mom, your own mother, tells you you're not welcome. The words hit like a glacier sliding through your stomach. You're not sure what stings more, the ban itself, or the fact that she says it like she's doing you a favor. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, where are you listening from? Drop your city and local time in the comments. Let's see who's the farthest from this family mess. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You sit back at your desk, fingers hovering over your laptop as the notification pings again. Just a reminder, we all agreed, you're not coming to Dad's party. No punctuation, no signature, just cold pixels. You don't respond. Instead, you log into your savings account, the one labeled Italy Trip for Dad Red Heart. It's been 2 years in the making, scraping tips, skipping concert nights, even selling your bike. The fund holds $56,300. You hit transfer. Back to your checking. A quiet revenge. Not the shouty wine glass throwing kind, just the kind where your mother's carefully planned celebration loses its glittery bow. A click. A sigh. You don't even cry. Historians still argue whether betrayal cuts deeper when it comes from kin or king. But Cleopatra might have said it best. Family ambition builds palaces and burns them too. You cancel the flights first, then the hotel in Florence with the rooftop view of the Duomo. Then the Vespa rental that was supposed to be a surprise tour along the Amalfi Coast. One by one, the plans you stitched together over 24 long months come undone with mechanical clicks. Cancellation confirmed. Refund in process. Gracie, and we hope to welcome you again. Not likely. You'd spent hours crafting the perfect itinerary, starting with Dad's favorite Roman ruins, ending with a slow gondola ride in Venice where you'd planned to give him the custom scrapbook of childhood photos. Instead, you watch it sit unopened in your sock drawer, collecting dust like one of Pompeii's forgotten residents. Historians still argue whether Nero really played the liar as Rome burned. But in this moment, you'd swear you hear faint plucking in your ears as your travel dreams go up in emotional smoke. And then there's the fringe detail you stumbled upon once, how ancient Romans used stale bread as napkins. That image now seems weirdly appropriate considering your entire family is wiping their guilt with your good intentions. Your mother's text echoes in your brain. We all agreed. You wonder who "we" is, and why agreeing to hurt you seems so easy. Still, you don't scream, you don't rant online. You simply cancel a dream and exhale through your nose, like a monk in exile. It's the kind of quiet rage the Medici might have bottled and sold in backroom pharmacies. Bitterness disguised as politeness, revenge brewed over low heat. You watch your inbox fill with silence. No one asks why the itinerary links are broken. No one calls to ask if you're okay. And slowly, you realize you were never part of the celebration. You were the scenery. The family group chat, usually a chaotic flood of memes, updates, and unsolicited opinions, goes eerily silent. You scroll through it on autopilot, noting how last week's "can someone bring plates" turned into a full-fledged itinerary without your name ever appearing. They even assigned Devin, your cousin who once grilled hot dogs with the plastic still on, to bring the cake. It's like watching a parade from the sidewalk after you've been voted off the float. Then, like the universe couldn't resist a dramatic flourish, a message pings. A screenshot. One clearly meant for someone else, accidentally dropped in the group. It's a text from your mom to your aunt. Don't worry, I handled it, he won't be there. He's always made things tense. This year should be peaceful. Your thumb freezes mid-scroll. You reread it 5 times. Tense. You? The one who paid for Dad's dental work last winter without telling anyone? The one who never even brought up the Thanksgiving pie incident? Historians still argue whether Marie Antoinette ever said "let them eat cake." But if she did, it was probably during a similar kind of dinner sabotage. You click out of the message, unsure whether to laugh or scream. Instead, you save the screenshot. A keepsake. Because nothing says family unity like being digitally exiled by your own mother. Oh, and the quirky tidbit? There's a species of jellyfish that reverts to its juvenile form when stressed. You suddenly envy that jellyfish. If only you could shrink back to the kid who thought birthday parties meant pizza and hugs, not betrayal and damage control. But no. Here you are, a full-grown adult, blocked from the group chat's emotional core, left to piece together your banishment one breadcrumb at a time. 3 days later, your brother calls. At first, it's casual. He's on speakerphone in the garage, rattling around in Dad's old toolbox, probably looking for something he won't return. You can hear the clink of wrenches and the screech of a loose drawer. Then he says it, too breezy, too fast. So, I heard you're not coming to the party. You pause. I wasn't invited. There's a sharp silence like he just bit his tongue. Wait, what? You explain. The text. The cancellation. The eerie group chat. The screenshot. He listens. Doesn't interrupt. The metal stops clinking. Then he sighs in a way that feels older than him. Dude, he mutters, Mom told us you didn't want to come. Cue the plot twist. You actually feel your ears warm. Apparently your mom went around telling everyone you opted out, that you were too busy with work. That you said, and he quotes, Dad's birthdays are always so boring. I've got better plans. Historians still argue whether Julius Caesar's final words were et tu, brute, or something far less poetic. But right now, you've got your own Brutus, and she's wearing your mom's perfume. The quirky fact of the day? In 18th century England, there were professional mourners you could hire to cry at funerals. Right now, you're pretty sure they'd do a better job expressing your shock than you can. You sit in stunned silence, your brother still talking, his voice blurred now by the rush of blood in your ears. Everything you didn't say is now a weapon forged and passed around behind your back. You're not just uninvited, you're misrepresented, muted. And worst of all, they believed her. You don't sleep that night. Not really. Just lie there in that too warm pocket of anger and disbelief, staring at the ceiling like it holds answers in Morse code. The hum of your bedside fan offers no comfort. It's white noise against betrayal. By morning, you've stopped hoping for an apology. Now you want clarity. Not revenge, yet, but at least an honest reckoning. You open the bank app, the Italy fund. Every euro, every espresso, every train ride across Tuscany, pulled from your own pocket for Dad. You'd paid for his ticket. And moms. And their friends. Even your aunt who can't pronounce gnocchi. But you're the problem? You hit the transfer button and move it all. $56,300 back to your personal account. Just like that. No dramatic gotcha. No announcement. Just silence. The digital kind that stings. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra truly died from an asp bite or whether that's just the world's first PR spin. Either way, deception always dresses itself in drama, or in your case, passive-aggressive birthday planning. And here's today's odd historical gem. In medieval Europe, a popular punishment for gossipers was a scold's bridle, a metal cage clamped on the head, sometimes with a tongue plate. Honestly, feels like the kind of retro solution you could pitch at this very moment. You text your brother the transaction receipt, not out of spite, but as proof. Just so you know, you write, I didn't back out. I was erased. He replies immediately, holy crap. Pause. I'm coming over. When he knocks 15 minutes later, he's holding 2 coffees and that look. Equal parts guilt, curiosity, and sibling rage. You open the door, and for the first time in this whole emotional demolition, someone's on your side. Your brother settles into the couch like it's a therapist's chaise. Pushing one coffee toward you and kicking his shoes off like this is going to take a while. You know that posture. It's how he used to sit during late-night arguments with his ex, explaining why it wasn't technically cheating if it was during a break. But today, he's different. He's quiet, focused. He rubs the back of his neck and finally says, there's something you should know. I didn't want to tell you before, but now. You brace yourself. Not sure what's coming, but you already hate it. So, when Mom said you didn't want to come, he begins, I believed her. We all did. But then last week, I saw her texting Aunt May, and she said something weird. Like, he can't find out about what we did last year. Wait, what we did last year? Your brain starts rearranging memories like puzzle pieces. You think back to Dad's 59th birthday. That party where everyone got weirdly quiet when you brought up the Italy surprise. You chalked it up to nerves. But now? Historians still argue whether Richard III really murdered his nephews in the Tower of London, or if he was just a convenient scapegoat for Tudor propaganda. You're starting to suspect your own family might be staging their own little Shakespearean drama. Today's odd tidbit? In 1920s Paris, there was a man known as Le Pétoman who could play musical tunes by controlling his flatulence. He performed to sold-out crowds. That guy got applause. You get exclusion. Your brother leans in, lowering his voice. I think Mom's been lying to Dad, too. About you, about money, about a lot. You stare at him, coffee cooling in your hand. This just stopped being about a party. You press for details, heart thudding like it's trying to decode Morse. What exactly did she mean, you ask? What did she do last year? Your brother shrugs, but it's the kind that means he knows. He just doesn't want to say it out loud. Look, he mutters. Mom's always been good at shaping the story. You remember how she handled that thing with Dad's retirement gift? You do. She'd told everyone she'd picked out the gold watch. But it was you who researched, ordered, and paid for it. She claimed the Italy trip was her idea, too. Always curating, always the martyr. She's been telling Dad you're unstable, your brother says suddenly. That you're too emotional and can't handle pressure. Said you lashed out over the dumbest things. That's why he doesn't push when you miss dinners. You laugh, bitter and too loud. Unstable, you echo. For wanting my family to tell the truth? Historians still argue whether Mary, Queen of Scots, was truly guilty of plotting against Elizabeth I, or just the unfortunate center of a political game. In your case, you're starting to realize you've been cast as the unreliable narrator in someone else's fiction. And here's your fringe history fact. In ancient Persia, decisions made while drunk were revisited again when sober. If they passed both tests, they were considered wise. You? You're stone-cold sober and still trying to make sense of this mess. You scroll through old texts, pulling up the one from Mom a year ago. Don't worry about covering dinner, sweetheart, I've got this. You hadn't questioned it. Now, you wonder if she said the same to Dad, but flipped the roles. She's rewriting everything, you murmur. Your brother nods. You ready to find out how deep this goes? You spend the next hour combing through texts, emails, and bank statements like a two-person detective agency, and not the sleek TV kind with trench coats and cool lighting. No, this is more like an Excel sheet and a box of slightly stale pastries. Turns out the Italy fund was just the tip of the deception iceberg. There, buried in last year's transactions, is a payment you never authorized. A $4,800 wire transfer to Springhaven Consulting. You raise an eyebrow. Isn't that where Mom's life coach works? Your brother asks. You hadn't even known your mother had a life coach. Historians still argue whether Rasputin actually had mystical healing powers or if he was just a master manipulator who got lucky with some herbal remedies. Either way, he charmed an empire. And you're realizing Mom's been doing the same thing on a smaller scale. The rabbit hole gets darker. There's a suspicious purchase of a new iPhone gift for someone named C, which your brother swears wasn't for Dad. Airline points were redeemed to upgrade one ticket, not both. And remember when Mom said she couldn't afford a new car? Turns out she leased one using part of the money from the joint trip account. And the worst part? Dad seems oblivious. You think he knows? You ask, hoping, just a little, that maybe this is all a weird misunderstanding, that maybe he's complicit, not duped. Your brother shakes his head. No. He still thinks she's saving up for their 40th anniversary cruise. You breathe in through your nose long and slow, the kind of breath yoga instructors praise. Today's quirky fact. In the 1800s, doctors treated female hysteria with manual pelvic massages because they believed it cured emotional outbursts. Meanwhile, your mother's been manipulating finances and gaslighting family members, and no one even blinked. You close the laptop. It's time we talk to Dad. The next morning, you and your brother carpool to Dad's house, the car's interior humming with an awkward silence. You both know this conversation won't be easy. Family secrets have a way of clawing out like bad dreams, sticky and persistent. You sit across from him, trying to catch his eye, but Dad's distracted by his garden. The roses are in bloom, just like last summer. You remember when you both planted them, laughing despite the thorns. "Dad," you start gently. "We need to talk." He turns slowly, wary but patient. You explain what you found. The canceled Italy trip, the unauthorized payments, the lies. His face tightens, not in anger, but confusion. Historians still argue whether Julius Caesar was truly betrayed by Brutus, or if history exaggerated a family quarrel. Similarly, you wonder if Dad's heartbreak is rooted in betrayal or simply misplaced trust. The strangest fact comes up. When ancient Greeks believed the soul left the body through the mouth, families would place coins there to pay the ferryman. You wish you could place a coin in Dad's mouth, so he could cross from confusion to clarity without pain. Dad's hands tremble. "I didn't want to believe it," he whispers, "but Mom has been distant for months. I thought it was stress." Your brother nods. "It's worse than that. She's been rewriting the story." Dad's eyes fill. "I invited you because you're family. She's scared of losing control." You lean in. "We're here now, Dad. We'll face it together." In that moment, the garden smells sweeter, and you feel the fragile stirrings of hope. You leave Dad's house feeling heavy but oddly lighter, like the first breath after holding underwater too long. It's not over, but now the truth has a foothold. That night, you sit by your window, the city lights twinkling like distant stars, and you think about all the family dramas you've heard growing up. Remember the Great Molasses Flood of 1919 in Boston? A massive wave of molasses flooded the streets, crushing buildings and people. Historians still argue whether it was pure negligence or an unavoidable accident. Like molasses, secrets can stick and drown what they touch. The whole saga feels sticky, tangled, almost absurd, but the pain is real. Oddly enough, there's a fringe fact about how Vikings believed berserkers entered a trance-like fury, almost supernatural during battle. You're not berserk, but you're ready to fight. For truth, for family, for your own dignity. You breathe deep, letting the hum of your fan soothe the chaos inside. Tomorrow, you and your brother will start untangling this mess, one conversation, one truth at a time. Now, take a deep breath with me. The night is quiet. The past is complicated. But you are still here, still standing, still ready. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Slowly, the noise fades. The sharp edges of anger soften like melting ice under a gentle sun. You feel the weight lift just a fraction, enough to notice the quiet breaths filling your lungs. The night wraps around you, a dark blanket embroidered with distant city sounds, and the occasional whisper of wind through leaves. This story, like all family stories, is messy and imperfect. It doesn't have neat endings or easy heroes, but in this tangled web of hurt and lies, there's something precious. Your resilience, the quiet strength in choosing truth over silence, the bravery in facing those who once promised love but instead spun webs. Imagine, just for a moment, the roses in Dad's garden, blooming despite the thorns. That's you, growing, unfolding, surviving. The world can be harsh and unforgiving, but here you are, still breathing, still believing in better days. Let your mind drift now, away from harsh words and broken promises. Feel the cool touch of the night air, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, the promise of dawn waiting just beyond the dark. Rest easy. Tomorrow is a new chapter. You're not alone. Good night.